This was the story of the week for me, in that it is what I am most interested in. The Wall Street Journal. Some of us call it the Journal. The Wall Street Journal did a little piece on the secret retreats that have CEOs, VIPs, and billionaires jockeying for invites. That's what I'm interested in. I discussed this on the last episode. I like a good party. I like a good festival. I enjoyed Coachella. As I get older, I realize I'm not going to maybe want to do that forever. So what's the next thing? I want to figure out how to become a guy who goes to these. I want to hang out at these billionaire festivals. And not in the way that, like, look, on the one hand, I look at this stuff and I'm like, this feels a little bit like I used to have to go to, I went to corporate conferences. When you would do like sales, that I did tech sales for a period of time, and you'd have these sales kickoff events. And the whole thing is very fascinating. The whole team flies to a different location generally. And then what they would do, this is a very common corporate practice, is they would have like a whole day of programming. So you'd get in there and it would be like, okay, we got the CEO's going to talk. We're going to talk about what's going to happen next quarter. That's going to fire us up. And then we'll have a sales trainer come and he'll be like, this is what you need to do. And then I went to one, we had Mike Eruzione, the guy from Miracle, from the Miracle on Ice, Team USA. He came in and was like, fucking, it's all about teamwork, kid. And it was it. And then what everyone does is you watch basically PowerPoints for 10 hours a day. You eat shitty, whatever food they set out. Like, there's some healthy options, but maybe you're hungover. Maybe you get to have a Danish that day. Maybe you have some shitty corporate pastry. And then in the evening, what happens is everyone gets fucked up. And then at least one person will end up getting fired after that weekend because they've done something sexually inappropriate because they're drunk. And you get that many people together are drunk who know each other. And so many of you're mixing in people who don't do that very much, people who don't know how to handle any sort of social situation. And someone's going to do some weird shit. You're going to have a weird power dynamic. Guy's going to try and lick a girl's neck. Okay, these are things that happen. And these days, what's beautiful is you get fired after that. What used to happen is that guy would get promoted. Someone would just be like, I like his spirit, and he would get a new job. And that's how that would work. But the point is, corporate partying is not fun. It's fun in the sense that it is partying, but it's very weird. And you mix in these forced moments where everyone pretends it's like a little bit of value that you're going to gather, but really everyone's just waiting to get hammered. And I want to know more about these secret retreats. Okay? It starts off out of the gate, this article. The crowd at the St. Regis Hotel in Aspen, Colorado on one weekend last fall was handpicked. And if you had to ask to be invited, you wouldn't be on the list. Guests including Ron Howard, Carly Kloss, and Goldman Sachs chief executive David Solomon were given barber vests. What's a barber vest? See, this is already valuable because I think what we all need to figure out is it's very simple. There are people who have made their way into the billionaire class by inventing genius, unbelievable products or just being first to market, stealing an idea, whatever. Some people have kind of earned their way there. A lot of people have just kind of figured out what you need to do to be around them. And that's what I think this episode is mostly going to be about, is how can we ourselves become billionaires simply by blending in? It's not about adding value. This is one thing that I have learned. The more people that I have been around who are successful, who are at a high level, it's two things. Sometimes you do add value and you're actually offering a lot and people want to be around you. And then there's always within that person's orbit a few other people who just kind of figured it out. And I'm wondering if this vest helps. Okay, barber vests. Guys, this is only, there's 100 and, okay, yeah, it's like a quilted vest. Vineyard Vines sells them. Orvis, I don't know about Orvis. That sounds a little too poor. Oh, Barber's official site. Okay, whatever it is. So, again, this is not even an exciting gift for a billionaire, but they're doing it. Okay. So here are some of the things you get to do. You can go on a walk and talk with Olympic running champion Allison Felix. I didn't even know who the fuck that is. Take a golf clinic with professional golfer Michael Block. Or bike with General David Petraeus. Well, that's it. That's an interesting... Biking with General David Petraeus this is the former director of the Central Intelligence Agency, and we're just going to go on a bike with him? This is where people get very conspiratorial about things. This is kind of the like Hillary Clinton was giving speeches to Goldman Sachs. Why was she making $250K? Because people don't care. They're really just paying her to be around. Okay, what is portrayed like? What's the interplay? Why does the former director of the CIA want to go on a bike ride with a bunch of nerds wearing barber vests? I'm fat. I'm fat. He's done a lot of things. He oversaw all coalition forces in Iraq. And that went well. And so, look, I'm not one of those guys who's like, if you were in the military, you're not allowed to like be interesting. I'm fascinated by it. What did we talk about last episode? I was at the Pentagon. But going to a billionaire fundraiser and going for a bike ride with the guy who oversaw the coalition forces in Iraq is just kind of an odd ride. First of all, are we even chatting much? Or are we biking? Stop mixing up socializing and working out. You can't do both. If you want to work out, you should be out of breath. Okay, so now what are we I'm just breathing heavily next to the former director of the CIA, and Jesus Christ. Such an odd thing, but this is what I'm saying. I want to go to this. This is my type of event, not because I think it's that fun, but because I want to treat it like it is. Like, I want to go to this event, but I want to approach it the same way that I approach Coachella, that I would approach Burning Man. I think a lot of people go to this event and they see an opportunity. They're like, look, I'm going to be around all these famous people. They go on to say in this article, Elon Musk is at this event. Mark Benioff hosts events where he likes to get people around, has 25 people around a table. They're all chatting. This is how it can be a helpful connector. Sam Altman, who I believe is the head of OpenAI. He connected with his most important investor, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, at Allen & Co.'s annual July conference. Disney finance chief, and CEO Bob Iger got some FaceTime over lunch at the same event. This is where things are happening. This is where you can connect. And if you have something to bring to the table, you might find someone else. It's a good way. People want to be with like-minded individuals, people who can offer them something, which is why I want to go, because I would have nothing to offer, and I would just treat this like a classic 3-day rage. I think that's the way to do it. I mean, get there and just start pre-gaming heavy and just be like, what are set times? Okay. Do we have DJs playing? Are we going to is Cascade on at 11? Great. General David Petraeus is on at 8. Okay. We're going that. I want to be front row wearing a full Coachella outfit, maybe even bringing back the headdress, because I think at a place like this, they'd be like, fuck it. Who cares? They're not. This is an anti-cancellation crowd, okay? I'm there. I'm dialed in. My face is painted, okay? I'm talking to Elon Musk, but I'm off some orange Teslas. You know what I mean? And I'm just raging. This is my Coachella, and to all of them, they're being dorks trying to treat it like a little meeting. These do look amazing. I didn't realize there was a whole circuit of these, which I find to be fascinating. Wall Street Journal. This is the type of journalism I would like to do. I do not want to be embedded with a wartime group in Ukraine, figuring out what's going on in the front line. This is the type of investigative journalism that I would do. I'll go to Sicily. I will go to Sicily and I will find out what Jared Leto and Alexis Ohanian are chatting about with Gary Vee. This was all at one in Stockholm, apparently. Cocktails garnished with slices of fresh watermelon. I'm surprised they even have sugar at these sorts of events. This strikes me as more of a California sober thing, where everyone's like, no one's fucked up, but everyone's done like a bit of mushrooms, but they're like, no, they're helping. Dog, you're doing drugs. It's okay. Everyone's trying to hide their They're like, look, you shouldn't glorify substance abuse, but I'm sick of people hiding it. All right? Stop pretending like you're not doing what you're doing. Even caffeine. Even caffeine. Yes, we're doing that because it's a drug. Okay? I'm not doing it for that. I've read all the articles about caffeine. They're like, actually, coffee is really good and it can help with X, Y, or Z other thing. Not why I'm doing it. I'm trying to rocket ship. I have perceived that I am in a normal state of consciousness. I feel like there's something I could do to elevate it, even if it's going to hurt me in the long term, and I've taken that course of action. That's everything. That includes, yes, you, who's microdosing mushrooms and acid. Look, that's okay. Just because you're sending emails while you're doing it doesn't mean you're not having a little send. You are. Otherwise, you could just sit there and be sober, but you don't want to. And that is fine. It's beautiful. Just realize what you're doing. All right? We all got to stop lying to one another. Unless we want to get into one of these billionaire events, in which case I would lie to get in. I would like to go. I mean, it looks fun. They have a little breakdown. So apparently there's one called The Weekend. Now we're cooking. I love that branding. The fact that a bunch of former virgins, you know, guys who I imagine did not fuck until they were like 38. God bless. They focused. They're billionaires now. They did a good job. Got together and they're like, what do we need to do to like tell people that this is the weekend to be at? And someone in the corner is just like, that's it right there. That's it right there. It's the weekend. We're doing the weekend. And they're like, what do you mean? No, we need a name. And they're like, what is in a name? No, it's branding. We're going to be the weekend. That's the weekend. It's the Coca-Cola of weekends. We're the weekend. At the St. Regis in Aspen, Colorado. That's the king. That's the one. Okay. Media Slopes, a.k.a. Slopes. That would have been, see, that's one of those where you assume, okay, they're doing Coke. But I don't think that they do anymore. I think that was 80s. I think Coke is out. Held at the Deer Valley Resort in Park City, Utah. I don't think Coke in Utah is too much. Slalom race. The Univision CEO, Wade Davis, has won the slalom race. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick teaches high-impact fitness classes. Is that... Wow, we might be having his son on the podcast. I'll ask him about this. This will be great, actually. A game show-style quiz focused on tech and media trends. Oh, Margot Robbie will be there. I love the mix of we need a few celebrities. So they get kind of weird ones who can just talk vaguely about greatness. Like they're saying, they have that Olympic sprinter, you know? And so that's why there's some guy who's... There has to be with all these, there are people who are cool and invited, and then other people who they use the other cool invites to just get them to go, and then they can milk in off those people. But I want to get to one of these, and I think I can. It's horrible. These are the type of things that you eventually get invited to perform at. Looks like Jerry Seinfeld has performed at one of these. But it's a horrible place to perform. It's actually hell. I had to do... I'll tell this story. I had to do a corporate gig, or it was a corporate gig. It was a party gig. It was for, I will just say, a famous celebrity in the comedic field, but like an actor who's been in massive movies, who's been on SNL, who's done all this. It was a family member of this person. And I got booked to do stand-up comedy at this event. And I was like, well, this is very exciting. You know, this is a family that enjoys comedy, that will enjoy getting to watch a comedian kind of do their thing. And I am very optimistic. I just show up and I'm like, yep, I'm going to crush. Well, that's not exactly how it went. I got there, and what you realize when you perform at an event for people that are there because they want to network is you are just eating up their time. And everyone in that room thinks they're the most important person in there, which is not really a great vibe when you're trying to perform. So I went up. I did about 15 minutes. I was supposed to do maybe 40. And I did about 15. I rifled through the premises of about 40 minutes of jokes because I'm up there. The microphone won't extend. I'm tethered to a DJ booth. They're getting dinner served. No one knew comedy was happening. There was not a stage. Okay, I'm standing up there. Pasta gets served. I'm getting nothing. All right, I rifle through about 30 minutes worth of premises in 12 minutes. I'm just picking stuff up, setting it down, moving on from everything. I try to do crowd work on a guy. He says, yeah, next. Oh, God. Pasta course comes out, and the guy who had booked me literally just went, yeah, I think you're good. And I was like, yeah, I think I am too. And I went, and I was about to leave, and the one person, the celebrity at the event, was like, why don't you sit down and just have some food? I was like, no, I need to get out of here. And she was like, no, sit down. I ended up sitting with her and her dad, and we had a lovely night. And the most beautiful part was I never had to go back up on stage. But one thing I'll always remember is that I will never talk to anyone from that event ever again, because that was an embarrassment to me and my craft. And that's what it's like when you perform at any of these. So you could do that. That's the thing, is like, on the one hand, yeah, I'd like to go as a comedian. That would be fun. But then it's bad. Then you go up, then you bomb. Now I can't talk to Bezos anymore. We can't talk to each other about ripping testosterone and getting biceps as old men. I don't get to go on the space shuttle. I want to go on the space shuttle. So when I talk about these things, like, what I'm saying is yes, I want to infiltrate, but also I do feel like if anyone's at a party in a cool location, I genuinely and truly believe that I deserve to be there. And when I'm there, I don't want to work. I want to have fun. That's the balance with these weekends. Everyone goes out there like, okay, I'm going to meet some people. And look, I may not be a very successful person for this exact reason. But when I go to those things, I'm there to rage. And whoever I pick up along the way is someone who gets to stay in my orbit. Okay? And that's great. But I only want someone with a good vibe. I don't care who you are. I really don't care. If Benioff's there, if Elon Musk is there, if my boy Satya is there, if you're not cool, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to go. I'm going to make an impact. All right? I'm going to rage. And I don't care which one of these we're at. I don't care if it's the Weekend. I don't care if it's Slopes. I don't care if it's Google Camp. I don't care if it's Brilliant Minds. I'm having a good time. And you better be with me. Okay? I want to go to one of these. Fuck. Looks beautiful. I think I just like resort life. I think I like resort living. You know, I've spent a lot of time when I've traveled trying to do real travel experiences. And I think that as I get older, I want fake travel experiences. I think those are nice. Just a really nice and unsustainably nice, like, you feel uncomfortable when you're there when you're younger because you know you don't belong. But then when you get old and wealthy enough to become an entitled piece of shit, and then you're like, okay, this thread count makes sense. I deserve this. I want to get there. I don't think I'm there yet.